Hello, my name is Tim Phillips, and I am interviewing for a training position at Instructure. Today in this webinar, I will be discussing how to create assignments, discussions, quizzes, and content pages in Canvas, and how you might use them in your course. Let's go ahead and get started. Here we are on the home page for a course that I am teaching. And let's go ahead and get familiarized with the layout here real quick. At the top of the screen, you will see the global navigation, and this is where no matter where you are, this will show the same. We can see the courses that you are teaching, the grades, and the calendar for those courses. In the middle of the section, we'll see your content area. In this case, it's showing the recent activity. On the left side, you will see the course navigation, and this is specific to the course that you are teaching and can be made to look a little bit different depending on how you want them to look. On the right side, you will see the sidebar here, and this varies depending on which page you're on. It shows you relevant information depending on what you need for that particular page. And one more thing about the interface here is we have the breadcrumbs, and this will show you as you get further into the pages here and into your course where you are in relation to your course. Now that we have an idea of where we are on our page, let's go ahead and create an assignment. And let's go over to the assignments page. Before we can create an assignment, let's take a look at the assignments page here. First of all, we are looking at the assignments index page. And the assignments index page, we can see that there isn't a right sidebar because there isn't anything in the content area for this to show for us right now. We do see, however, the course navigation, which does say the same, no matter where you are, and our breadcrumbs are here as well. In addition, we see assignment groups, and the assignments page is set up in a way kind of like a gradebook would be set up if you were to have separate categories. And in this case, I've got my assignment groups labeled assignments and discussions, quizzes and exams, and presentations. In each of these assignment groups, we can add all of the different types of assignments for our students to see. On the left side here, we see the assignment name or the title of that particular assignment. If you're using some sort of module, then you can see how the courses, or excuse me, how the assignments are set up and organized in those modules. You can see here that I've got mine set up in a certain way. The due dates for those assignments, the number of points they are worth, whether they've been published or not. This cloud here will show you that if it's green, that it is published. And then you have the gear icon on the right that will allow you to edit, move it, or delete those particular assignments. When you do create an assignment, we can do so from two different areas on this page. Canvas provides various ways for the user to create, to accomplish the task that they need to do. In this case, we can create an assignment by selecting the blue Add Assignment button at the top of the page. And if we select that button, we will get a generic assignment, and we can go through that and assign which assignment group we want to put it into later. We can also add an assignment from the assignment group by selecting the Add Assignment group, or excuse me, Add the Assignment button here from the group. And if we do that, we get a quick add window where we can select what type of assignment and the name and date and points. We can also select more options here at the bottom. And if we select that, that will take us to the main edit window. Let's go ahead and cancel that for now, and let's select a brand new assignment from the blue assignment button at the top of the page. This will take us to the editing window for our assignment. And the first thing that's different, we will notice on the right sidebar here that this area has changed, and it offers us the relevant information that we can use. Now this will show us various links and files and images that we can input into our assignment. We have here on the top our assignment name, or the title of our assignment, We also have the rich content editor. The rich content editor we will see throughout the whole Canvas experience for students and for teachers, and it allows us to input and change how we want our assignments to look. Let's go ahead and create this assignment. Let's create a generic assignment. Let's call it Phillips agreement. Now we've titled our assignment. Let's go ahead and create some content for it. Let's say, please read the syllabus and okay, so I have a simple assignment for the students to do. I can go ahead and on the rich content editor, the bar here, I can select a different type of heading. Let's say I want to make it nice and big and simple for everyone to see. I can adjust the points and the settings for this particular assignment. 10 points, I'm going to leave it at 10 points. I can decide what group I want it to go to, like we talked about earlier. I can leave it in the assignments group. I can put it in the discussions, quizzes, or presentations. I also have the option to add a brand new assignment group and add it into that one. For now, though, I'm just going to leave it in the assignments group. I have the ability to display the grade in any form that I want. And by default, Canvas shows grades as points. And depending on how you teach your course, you can choose what best fits your scenario. Whether if you want to show a percentage, if you want to display whether it's been completed or incompleted, a letter grade, a GPA scale, or if you just don't want to grade it at all, but just have it available for students to look at. In this case, because it's a simple turn-in, I'm going to say it's complete or incomplete. I also have the ability to change how I want the assignment to be submitted. Now I have the options of no submission at all, online, on paper, and via some external tool. If I choose online, I'm greeted with a couple options that I can choose from. If I select text entry, then the students will receive when they go ahead and submit the assignment, they will be presented with the rich text editor that they can then submit their answers in. I can also have the option of asking or requesting a URL or a meeting recording, either audio or video clip or anything like that. I also have the ability to have the students submit a file to upload. Now in this case, I have the ability to restrict various file types. Let's say I want them to just turn in a regular file. I don't want them to turn in something that I'm not familiar with or that I can't open on my computer. So I can restrict it to something as easy as a docx or a dot or a regular doc, or maybe even a PDF. And I can, as long as I separate those by commas, then Canvas will recognize those. And they will limit the ability for students to upload documents that I can't read or see or don't want to have uploaded. In this case, though, I don't want to have a file upload or a text entry. This is a paper assignment that I want them to turn into a turn-in box, so I'm going to select on paper. Now I have the ability for this assignment to select it as a group assignment, and if I select this checkbox here, I can tell Canvas that this is a group assignment, and by default Canvas will automatically assume that I am going to grade everybody the same in those groups. So and this works out really great in the speed grader, if student 1 and student 2 are together and I give student 1 a score, Canvas will automatically give student 2 that same score. If I don't want that to happen though, I have the ability to check this box here to assign grades to each student individually. And sometimes that comes up, and so there's an option for us. I also have to determine what the groups are, to tell Canvas what those groups are. Now I have a group already set up here, and I could just select that and tell Canvas that those students are together in the group. And you can set your groups up um, in the People's page, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But I don't want this to be a group assignment, so I'm going to uncheck that. You also have the ability to have a peer review for students in this assignment. You select the checkbox here. You can manually assign who you want to review each other's assignments if you have some sort of mechanism for deciding who you want to do that for. Or if you don't, you can request that Canvas will do it, and they will automatically select peers for those reviews. In this case, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to uncheck that as well. And at the bottom of the page, we need to tell Canvas when you want it to be due. So we can select on the box here. And since this is a syllabus, I'm going to say I'm going to present it on Monday, and I'll say I want it due by Friday. And if I leave this blank, notice here at the bottom of the screen there's this box for time. If I leave that blank there, Canvas will default it to 11:59 p.m. And I'm okay with that, so I'm going to go ahead and click Done. But I also have the option to select Available From and Available Until. So if I select this option, I can say that Available From, let's say it's February 9th, and let's say it's available at 8 a.m. In this case, students won't be able to see this assignment until 8 a.m. on February 9th. And this assignment will be available, let's say it's available for 1 week after it's due. And I'll go ahead and leave it at 11:59 by default. So students will see their due date, and on their screen they'll say this is due Friday, February 13th, and it'll say 11:59 p.m. They will be able to access this, and they will be able to notice that the assignment will show up on their dashboard on Monday morning, February 9th at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they will be able to turn it in until 1 week after the due date. One more thing that I have the option of doing, if sections have already been created and they're not disabled by your institution, you have the ability to, from this drop down menu here, to select which section you want to add. And you can actually add different due dates and different available from and until dates for each section. And this actually comes in quite handy if you only want this assignment to be available for each section at the time that they're maybe meeting with you in class. And you would do that by selecting the due date button. And when all the options and settings have been selected that you want to do, one more thing, maybe I want to actually go through here and say, I actually want to link this. I want to provide something really easy for them. So I'm going to come over to my content page here on the right side, and I'm going to come down here to course navigation, and I'm just going to link the course syllabus directly to this assignment here. So when they do read it, then I can go ahead and they can click on that link and it'll take them directly over to the syllabus, which I have over here on the course navigation already ready to go. So I'm going to go right down here and select Update Assignment. Now, right before I have two things I need to do before I am ready to go. One, I need to ask myself if I would like to have a rubric for this particular assignment. Let's go ahead and add one. I think I would like to have a rubric. And here on the bottom of the screen, I've got the Add Rubric button. Let's go ahead and select that. And here I have the ability of manually entering a rubric. I can go here and say syllabus agreement rubric. And I can add my various criteria. I'm going to add 2 of them. So I've got 2 different ones. And by simply selecting the title, I can edit that. And let's say, did the student sign the syllabus? Select OK. And I have the ability of adding various marks that I want to assign. Now, I've already made this assignment worth 10 points. I have the ability of adding more points if I want to. Let's say I want to have 4 different descriptions here. And by default, Canvas will automatically put the most amount of points for a rubric on the far left side, and the least amount of points for the rubric on the far right side. In this case, I actually only want to have 2 marks, one for full points, one for no points. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these two and just leave it as full marks and no marks. And I'm going to change this other description here to did the parent slash guardian okay. Apologize for my misspelling there. Leave it as full marks and no marks. And one more thing before I click that create rubric. Down here at the bottom, I have the ability to, by selecting this middle checkbox here, use the rubric for assignment and grading. This is fantastic for me as an instructor. When I go to grade this assignment in Canvas, I will be presented, if I select this checkbox here, with the rubric for this particular assignment. And instead of just giving them a score, I actually will go through and select the various points on the rubric by each criterion. So I would look and say, well, did the student did the student sign the syllabus? I can say yes, and I would click the full marks. Then I would go, did the parent sign? And I would notice they did and say I would give them full marks. And then I would be done. It's real quick and real easy. Very nice for instructors to use for really quickly and easily grading. But let's say I actually have a rubric. I'm going to go ahead and delete this here that I've already created from another course that I want to use again. I can come down here to, or excuse me, over to the right and say find a rubric, and this will take me to my rubrics that I have created for my courses. I've got one right down here that's a syllabus agreement, and it looks just like the one I just made. I'm going to click use rubric, and that will pull it in and automatically put that rubric in for that assignment. It's fantastic. If you've already created rubrics, spent the time to really create a fantastic rubric, and you don't have to recreate the wheel every single time. Really great feature. And once I'm done, I feel good that everything is the way I want it to be. I come over to the publish button, and at this point the students won't see anything. They don't even know that this is even here until I hit this button. And as soon as I hit the publishing button, it will automatically pop up on their dashboard if my availability date has shown up for them to see it. But it is now active, and if the availability date is ready, then they will see it. Let's go ahead and go back to the assignments page. And before we move on, is there anybody that has any questions? Anybody would like me to review anything or talk about or discuss something one more time? Okay, I guess hearing not any questions. If you do have some, feel free to write them in the chat box, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. But let's go ahead and move on. Let's create an assignment. And notice actually, before we move on to our next thing that we're going to create, notice that our syllabus is right down here at the bottom of our assignment group. And it says that it's not available until February 9th, but it is ready to go when February 9th shows up. So let's come down here to our next group, which is discussions. Let's create a discussion. And in this case, I'm going to create it from the quick add assignment button from within the assignment group. I'm going to click that. I'm going to be taken to the add assignments, add discussions page here. And I'm going to select the type as a discussion. So we'll let Canvas know that I want to create a discussion. Create a name for it. I'm going to create a due date as of Wednesday. And I'm going to leave the due date at 11:59. Actually, I want to change that to the beginning of school. I'm going to say 8 a.m. School starts. I'm going to make this worth 5 points. And instead of selecting save, if I select save at this point, I'm merely creating an assignment shell, which the assignment hasn't really been created except that there's a place marker for it. Let's go and create some more information about it by selecting the more options button. Okay, now we come to the discussions editing window. It looks very similar to the assignment editing window. We see the course navigation on the left. We have our breadcrumbs on the top and our global navigation. We also have on the right side, we see the content editing page here where we can insert links, files, and images, or various assignments from we've already created. In this case, we're creating a discussion that we want students to see. Let's go ahead and create um, a question here that we want students to see. Now, a discussion is an area where you can ask a question and the whole class gets to respond, and the whole class will be able to see each other's responses. And the best part about a discussion is that students will begin to interact with the question, and they'll begin to interact with each other, especially if you ask them or require them to respond to at least one or two other students in and their responses. You will be able to see a great conversation develop. So let's go ahead and begin that. Let's say an easy question. Did we really land on the moon? Why or why not? And maybe I don't really think this is, I want to add a little bit more to this question. Let's go ahead and add a photo to this. Might really enhance this ability for this question. So we go over to the rich content editor and let's go to the photos. Let's embed an image. And now Canvas gives me the ability to just go grab an image from the web by selecting its URL and pasting it in there, if I already know which image I want to use. If I've already uploaded a picture to Canvas, then I can select it from my course files. But if I don't have one, I also have the option to search Flickr. And what's really great about this is that I can search Flickr and I can search the Creative Commons side of Flickr. So everything there is free for me to use and I won't be breaking any copyright. Let's go ahead and say landing on the moon. Let's search that. And then right within this window here, I am receiving Flickr photos, which is great that I don't have to go out to any external site. Let's come down. This looks good right here. Let's use that one. Great, I've got a fantastic picture to really add to my question. However, I think it's a little too big. So let's go ahead and resize it. If I select the image, and I will be presented with various handles to alter the size of that image around the side. Let's grab one of these here, and I'm just going to drag it a little smaller. And notice that Canvas will let me see what the image will look like before I let go. That looks really good to me. All right. Let's go ahead and come down and select the rest of the settings for this discussion. I have the ability to attach a document or some sort of file to this if I wish. And can also allow threaded replies. And in this case I do. This would be great for students to be able to comment on other students' comments. So I'm going to go ahead and select yes, I want threaded replies. And I want the students to be able to post their initial response before they see somebody else's response. Make them think a little bit beforehand. So I'm going to select this box that allows me to do that. And in that case, when students select this discussion and they go in to complete it, all they're presented with is a reply box which will ask them to insert their comment. And once they do, they will then see the whole full discussion and everybody's responses, and then they can go back and comment on others. This third checkbox here, enable a podcasting feed. This is great if I want to leave this discussion open for a while and people want to be able to subscribe to it, and when anybody adds to it or comments in the discussion, they will get a notification, and they will be notified that someone has commented. And if I allow, they can even reply from that podcasting feed. Now in this case, it's just my class, and I don't necessarily think it's going to be up for a long time, so I'm going to not enable the podcasting feed. But I do want it to be graded, so I'm going to check the graded box, make sure that's ready to go. I do have the option to creating this as a group discussion. However, in this case, I'm not going to do that. I've already set my points possible from the earlier quick adding window from the assignments index page. I'm going to leave the display grade as points, but I do have the option of selecting other options that we discussed earlier on assignments. The same things: percentages, complete, incomplete, points, letter grades, or GPA scales. I do want to leave this under the assignments group, but I could, under the discussions group. However, I could choose a different one if I wanted to, or create a brand new one. We are going to leave it under discussions. And I also have the option to peer review again if I really wanted to. And then down at the bottom, I have the due date, available from and available until. And I want this to be, I already set this up in the original window. It's going to be due at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. So I'm going to say available from on Monday. I'm going to say 8 a.m. Gives them 2 full days to write. And I'm going to leave the until blank. And in that response, or in that case, students will be able to see it. And even though it'll be due on February 11th, if they come back and see it on February 12th, Canvas will tell me that this has been late, but they'll still allow the students to comment and add to it. Now once I'm finished and I feel comfortable with my question, I select the Save button. And now my discussion is saved and edited and ready to go, ready for me to publish it. And just as the same as with assignments, the students will not be able to see this unless I publish it. So let's go ahead and publish this assignment or this discussion. And now the students will be able to see this question. In fact, this is what it will look like for them. They will see that I posted to the discussion forum, that I asked the question, that I inserted a picture, and below there will be simply a reply box that they can insert a comment. Now notice that it is the rich content editor. They can put in text, but they can also respond with pictures or movies or audio clips. Really powerful. Okay, and that is how you create a discussion. Let's go ahead and go back to the assignments page. And let's create a quiz this time. We'll scroll down. And I already have a quiz started. You can see that here at the bottom, it's grayed out, that it's not published. And this is an assignment shell. This is something that it's a placeholder. It's ready for me to continue editing. So to continue editing it, I'm going to select the assignment name, which right now is simply unnamed quiz. And this page shows me that I have started it, but I want to continue editing it. So let's go up to the top here and choose the edit button to finish editing this quiz. Now it looks like I didn't name it, so let's go ahead and name this 18. Okay. I've selected my quiz instructions. They're ready to go. And before I go through the rest of this page here, the settings page, let's go and talk about some of the questions. Now here on the questions page, I have the ability to add lots of different types of questions. Canvas is very full featured when it comes to quizzes. I have the ability to enter a multiple choice. In fact, let's go in and talk about a multiple choice real quick. In the multiple choice, or when you select a brand new quiz question, you're presented with this option here, this drop down menu, and you have all of these different features or questions that you have the ability to choose from. Let's leave it on multiple choice, and let's talk about this multiple choice for a moment here. Notice that you have the rich content editor available for you for your question, so it doesn't have to be just text. It can be pictures and videos and images and various ways or appearances. And just like any multiple choice, there are multiple possible answers that could be chosen. Noticing here that there are 4 available that I have set up, and by default, Canvas chooses the top answer to be correct. Now that can be changed by selecting this green arrow. I can come down here to, let's say I want the second possible answer to actually be the correct answer. I can simply select that green arrow, and it becomes now the new correct answer. Let's go back here and put it back where it should be. In this case, I have my answer, and if I do come in and select this pencil here to edit, turning on my editing, I also have the rich content editor available to me that I can use in my answering. So I can, as one of the possible answers, I could put in photos or images or audio clips. Really powerful, really great stuff. In addition to this, I have feedback boxes for incorrect and correct answers. In this case, this green one is the correct answer feedback box, and I can create some sort of comment to provide feedback for answering it correctly. And conversely, I can add an incorrect answer feedback box that is here in red, and in this case I've got 3 individual feedback boxes for each answer. But let's say I didn't really want to go to that much work, and I just wanted to do general incorrect feedback boxes. I could select this pink one or this red one down here at the bottom, and all of the wrong answers, if anybody selected any of those answers that are incorrect, they would receive what I typed in this general incorrect feedback box. I could do the same thing for the correct answers comments, or have a general answers comment for my feedback box here, and no matter what they choose, correct or incorrect, they would still see this. So here's a quick example of a multiple choice question. Scroll down here. You can also do a true false and select, just like before, you would select which answer is correct, and you can provide feedback boxes like I have here. Here's a fill in the blank. And one thing that's unique about fill in the blanks is that you don't just have one correct answer. You can tell Canvas that there are more possible answers for this fill in the blank. Now in this case, the correct answer is 5. There are 5 strategies that can improve the ability to read for this meaning, for meaning. I could also tell Canvas, since it doesn't know the difference of spelling errors, I could tell it that these questions these answers are also correct. So spelling 5 with a capital F, or maybe just the numeric version of 5, I would consider those as correct if I were grading a paper test. In this case, I'm telling Canvas that those are also correct if the student were to enter those in. I have the ability of filling multiple blanks if I wanted to add multiple blanks into one question. And in this case, I would simply, instead of putting in a line, I would put in brackets to distinguish the first blank from the second blank, and the students would then choose which color to answer. I can also do multiple answers and have multiple checkboxes. I can have a multiple drop down, and this is essentially the same thing as the multiple fill in the blanks, except instead of writing an answer, students would choose from a drop down menu, and I'll show you what that looks like when we preview this quiz. I have a matching question, a numerical answer one if I want the answer to be in a numerical form, and I also have the ability of writing a margin of error that I want the Canvas to calculate. I have the ability of creating a question based on a formula, and this is actually a really neat question because I can write the question, and I can provide a range of possible answers for Canvas, and Canvas can then randomly select one of the possible solutions and ask that question to the student, so every student would theoretically have completely different questions, but yet all pulling from a bank. Really neat. I have the ability of asking an essay question, and this could be, in this case, it's a short answer question. The one unique thing about the essay question is that Canvas cannot grade essay questions. This really needs human input. So you'd have to come back and grade that in the speed grader. I can ask students to upload a file for their answer, and I have the ability to add a text header if I want to do that as well. Now, I did mention that this quiz wasn't finished yet. I would like to go and finish it. I could create a brand new question, and if I do that, I'm presented with this editing window here, and it defaults to multiple choice. It is at the top of the list, and I could then choose which one I want. In this case, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to select cancel, and I'm going to select a new question group. And a new question group is really neat because it's similar to pulling questions from a bank. If you had multiple questions in a bank, and you could say, Canvas, I want you to select 5 questions from these 10, and have the students select 5 of them, and Canvas would randomly select them. In this case, I'm going to select 3 questions, and I'm going to say each one of those is worth 2 points. And I could create the group right here if I wanted to create the answers or the questions right here. I could drag them in by dragging them into the group if I wanted to do that. Or I can link it to a question bank that I've already created. In this case, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to come over, find a question bank. I've got one right here that I've already created. I'm going to select that bank and create the group. And in that case, I've got my question bank created. The group will then pull. There are 5 questions in this bank, and I want the students to answer 3 of them. Canvas will randomly select which questions they will pull, and those students will answer them. I can also find questions from questions that I've already written. If I don't want to pull the whole bank of questions in, if I just want to pull 1 or 2, I can do that too. Really powerful stuff. Once I'm ready, I go ahead and click Save. Oh, and I forgot to select the settings. Let's go back and edit that real quick. Let's talk about the settings really quick. So back to the settings page. I was on the questions tab. Now I'm on the settings tab. I have the option of various types of quizzes or surveys. I can have a practice survey, which is not graded. I can have a graded survey. Let me rephrase the practice. It's not recorded, but it is graded for students. They can see how well they did, but does not go into their final grade. I can have a graded quiz, which will go into the final grade. And I can have graded or ungraded surveys. I have my assignment group here that I can decide where I want that to reside. And like we had before, the quizzes, we're going to put it there. I can decide to shuffle the answers if I want them to be in different orders for each student. I can select a time limit. In this case, let's say 60 minutes. That requires them to finish it. I can say you get multiple attempts to take this quiz. And by default, Canvas will choose the highest score that they've received. If I wish, I can choose the most recent attempt they have taken and choose the latest one. When I choose this, the allowed attempts will have 2 dashes here. And that means that the students can take it as many times as they want. However, if I go and select that, I can say how many times I want them to be able to take it. So let's say I'll let them take it 2 times in this case. I can let the students see their quiz responses or not. I'm okay with that. I can choose when they see it, if it's after the last attempt or only once after each attempt. I can let them see the correct answers if I want them to. And I can also decide if I want that they can only see the correct answers after their last attempt. And I can decide when to show those correct answers. Let's say I want to show it at the end of the testing window. Or I'll show it for 1 day and then I'm going to hide it again. I can have the option to do that. I can then also show 1 question at a time where they would have to click to the next window to take the next question if I want to do that. I also have the ability, if I choose that option, that students can, I can lock it so that they can't go back and change their answer. I also have various restrictions over this quiz. I can require an access code that I can type in, and this is really great if I only want them to take the quiz, have access to that quiz inside of class, and if they don't have the code, they can't access it. I can also add a filter filter it via IP address, and this is really great if I really want this quiz to only be taken in this computer lab. I'm going to uncheck both of those. Select my due dates. Let's say this due date, I'm going to set this as February 12th on Thursday. And we're going to say leave it empty, and that'll be defaulted at 11:59. They'll be able to see this on Tuesday. And I'm going to say right at the beginning of school at 8 a.m. And I want everybody to see this. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save. At this point, I've created my quiz. The only thing I have left to do is to publish it. So we'll go ahead and publish this quiz. Now, if I want to preview what the quiz looks like for students, I can select the preview button, and this is how the kids will see it. They'll see their multiple choice, their true false, their fill in the blank, which they will type, fill in multiple blanks, multiple answers, drop downs, matching. And matching also has distractors in there as well, so you can add multiple responses. Numerical answer, a formula-based one, which again is random, because I wrote 5 plus x, and Canvas chose one of the options, one of the range that I specified. Here's my essay question. A file upload that they would have to choose from their own computer. Here's a title header, or a text header, excuse me. And here's the question bank of 3 questions that I chose, that I said, or I gave 5 of, that Canvas chose 3 of them. Okay. And that is the preview of the quiz. Let's go back to our assignments page. And now we have our assignments. Let's go ahead and create a content page really quick. And we do that by coming down to the pages on the course navigation on the left sidebar here. And you notice that it's grayed out. It's grayed out because it is not currently available for students to access or see. It is, however, still available for me to use. So if I click on it, it'll still function the way I want it to function. In this case, let's go ahead and create a brand new content page. And I've already got some information available. I'm going to go ahead and grab that right now. Okay, here's the content. Bring that in here. And a content page is really great because it's something that acts very similar to a web page or a wiki, where you can create and give lots of information out to your students in a very easy way. There's no assignment that goes along with this. It's not a quiz. It's simply a page that delivers information. You have the option of creating it more interactive with your students if you choose, and creating a wiki where they can come and edit and add to it if that's something that you want them to do. Here in the bottom, on the options drop-down menu, you can say this is only editable by teachers. You can say teachers and students, or if you have your course open up for everyone to see, you can select anyone. In this case, I want it just to be an informational page, so I want them to be only editable by teachers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a header here. And I'm going to choose heading number 2, which is the largest header you can do. And I'm going to change the color and say, let's make it pop a little bit more here. I'm going to do that for all the headers. And this is a header number 4. It's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to choose a little different color to distinguish it. That looks good. And I think I'm going to come in here and add an image. Let's go to our content inserter here and choose an image. And I've got a banner I've already created and uploaded to Canvas. Select that, and there's my header. Looks good. I'm going to come down, and I've got an image that a steam locomotive I want to add in here too. Let's click on that and add it in. And great, it's in here, but it's really way too big. I'm going to select it, find those handles, and I'm going to make it a little smaller. That looks good. Great. And I want to make this a little more interactive and dynamic. I'm going to add an audio clip here. Let's go to the record upload audio. I'm going to choose my microphone. Why do you think steam power was the first power source for locomotives? Click that and click Save. And it will insert that right into that page. If I wanted to, I could also say that I want to list all the assignments for this particular chapter. So I could say chapter assignments. Let's create that a new header. I'll make that a heading number 2. And we'll come down below here. And I can come over here to my links and come in here and let's add that assignment that we did earlier, which was the Silament agreement. Put that in there. I can come make that quiz. Western Frontier quiz. And I can put in that discussion. Landing on the moon. This is a real great way to provide students with an organization that is easy for them to see and provide lots of information. So once I'm good and ready, comfortable with that, I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Oh, I need to put a title in. Click Save. Now I have a dynamic and visually appealing page for my students to see. Okay, we have gone through today how to create and edit assignments. We've talked about assignment groups and various ways to create discussions and quizzes and all the different types of questions that you can input in a quiz. We've talked about how to create a content page and how to dynamically make that so that students can interact with that page a little bit more. At this point, are there any questions before I end my webinar with you that I can answer or help you understand a little bit better? No? Great. Well, feel free to contact me.